Hello, and welcome to Charlotte's Web channel. I am Charlotte Marie, and today I am wearing a long sleeve, open shouldered t shirt dress. This dress is made of t shirt material, which makes it very comfortable. It can be worn both casual and dressy. Stay tuned, and I will demonstrate step by step how to put this dress together in about an hour. I will be using the McCall's pattern that you should see shortly on the screen. Once you have purchased your pattern, go ahead and cut it out as shown on the pattern instruction guide.
Okay, so once you have completely cut out your pattern, McCall number 7621, as per your pattern instruction guide here, then we just want to go ahead on and start with the back piece. I have the back piece where I need to just do a little bit or cut out on it, and then we'll start on that back piece, sewing that back piece up. Once you have your machine set, I would say for straight stitch you want to set it on number 3. Sometime I'll set mine on 4 because I don't want the stitches so tight, just in case I want to take the stitches out, because I'm not really certain. So sometime I'll set it on number 4 for that reason. Then you want to back stitch. So we're going ahead on right now and sewing the back seam together. And like I said, it might be a good idea to have your stitch on number 3, your stitch length. And you just sew it all the way down, matching your indicator, your notches, just like that, all the way through. And then back stitch, and you should be pretty much done, except I would advise you to do one more stitch, double stitch. I think the pattern calls for a double stitching of each seam, and I would also like to do a double stitch always. Okay, so we're going to start out by turning your front piece over, and we're just going to stitch from here to here. It's going to come out here to here, just a quick stitch on both sides. Okay, so next you'll want to take and you want to pin your right sides together, your back and your front, with the right sides together, and you just want to put your stick pins in here and there, just 1 or 2 at a time. Right sides together. And then you also want to get your sides pinned in. Okay, so you can see the pins that I have in the shoulder seams and the side seams. So now it's just time to sew those together. Okay, so we will start with the shoulder seam, and you want to back stitch, and you're going to go about a 5/8 of a seam allowance all the way through. You just want to keep them together, and you want to back stitch that also. The back stitching just reinforces it. And so that seam is together. It's time to do the next one. And again, we're going to do a 5/8 of a seam. We're going to back stitch, and you want to finish your seam on the other side. And a back stitch, and we're done with the shoulder seams. Okay, so now for the side seam. And And I'm not sure what that ease stitch is about. I'm thinking that it needed to be a little bit gathered or something there at the side. I'm not really certain, but that's what the pattern calls for. So we're just going according to the pattern. So let's just finish those sides. And once you get done with the side, we'll go through the other side there. And we're going to do this about 5/8 of a seam allowance. So you just want to go through all the round part, hip part. And okay, so now we're on the other side for the other side seam. And so you just want to take out all pins, and you want to keep it about 5/8 of a seam allowance all the way back down, all the way through. And coming towards the end of this side also. We're almost done. Guys, almost done. And we're done. And so I can't reiterate enough how valuable your pressing will be. When you get done with your back seam, you want to press your seam down. Pressing is so important. So keep pressing that seam down. Then you will want to press your shoulder seams toward the back. You're going to take your iron and just kind of press. I am in a hurry because I want to put this dress on in about a couple of hours. And so I'm kind of rushing through. So you kind of have to forgive me because I'm going against the grain a little bit when it comes to sewing. However, pressing, it probably would be better if you pressed it as you go, as you make that seam. When you sew that seam, you probably want to press it right away. So anyway, we just want to press those seams toward the back. And so once you have both of sides, both upper sleeves pressed over, just like so, you want to press both sides over about 5/8 of a seam. Then it's time for us to just stitch. We're going to make a stitch, and you can just watch along. And we're also going to stitch the sleeve seam together. Okay, so it's time to turn our sleeves. To just do a quick turn over, we'll do a double turn like that. And it's time to just hem the top of that sleeve. So you probably want to have your machine just on a basting stitch. I have mine on number 4. So you just want to turn that over just like that. And finish it off. And you want to do both sleeves. And it's time to do the next stitch. All done. Back stitch, and voila. That's your hem for your top sleeve. So on your second sleeve, you want to do the same. Always back stitch. I didn't do it that time, but it's always important to back stitch because it locks it in. So you just kind of want to roll that sleeve, a double roll all the way to the end. Okay, so once you have hemmed both sleeves, it's time to do the seam on the hem. So with right sides together, just like I have mine, you just want to sew about a 5/8 of a seam allowance. That's the normal seam allowance. with patterns is about a 5/8. So you want to do both sleeves, just like so. Back stitch, you want to always remember to cut your strings, and sewing so valuable. Okay, reinforce your sleeve by adding a second stitch right next to the first stitch. Just reinforce your sleeves. Going to need that reinforcement, especially at the top portion. So you always want to double stitch your seams, and you also want to cut off your threads. Okay, so let's work on our neck edge, the hem on the neck. We're going to turn it over, which we already did when we did the pressing. And we're going to put it in the machine just like that. And you probably want to start with the seam at the top. And you're just going to do a back stitch so that locks it in. And we're just going to go around trying to make it look as nice as possible. Just about like that, kind of a turn. So that's the first thing people will see is that neckline. So we're just going to basically double it up, double turn it. When we did that press, as you can see in the photos, then you just kind of want to double turn it just like that, and that's your neckline. And you want to go all the way. You want to keep your seam to the back. I always like to keep my seam pressed toward the back. That's why we press it toward the back. And let's go through all thickness. Okay, so we're doing the back now. And you just kind of want to turn it over the same way. And we're just doing a top stitch right down. So I would say keep your stitching on about a 4. So anyway, we're almost done with that side too. Go through all thickness, keep turning, just like that. And then, okay, so you back stitch. You always want to cut your strings or your threads off. All done with the neckline edge. So then we just need to do a nice press on that. Okay, so something we forgot to do when we were pressing is to press over the top shoulder. That's where the opening will be. So there's marks on your pattern. I have mine marked like that, but there is marks on your pattern. So you just want to turn that over just like that. It would have been better to press it, because that way it would be much easier to turn it and all of that. But I kind of rebel, and like I said, I'm doing things differently because I'm trying to hurry, which still not always a good thing. So anyway, you just want to kind of sew that top edge. We're just doing the hem on the top opening. Okay, so it's time to put our sleeves in place. So with the right side of the sleeve to the right side of the garment of your bodice, you want to pin it in place just like so. And all the way. For me, this was just easier. Like I said, I'm kind of going through it against the grain, but it should have been stitched all the way down here. However, that's something that I can take care of. But you want to always stitch according to what your pattern is saying. Like here, it's good. The stitch is pretty good. So anyway, you just want to stitch. You want to put it in place. And then we're just going to stitch right there, right along there, and that stitch that sleeve right on. So then we'll just straighten things out as we go. Okay, so for the other side, we're going to do that the same way, right sides together. The seam is always pressed toward the back, and I believe the back is on the other side. I have to check it out. However, you always want your seams to be turned toward the back, and you just want to put your stick pins in just like so. And that's on the other side. And so we're just getting ready to sew right along that seam there. Okay, next. Okay, so you have your sleeves in place, pinned in place there. So now we're just going to go ahead on and sew it right in as you have it pinned. About a 5/8 of a seam. Back stitch. Take your pins out as you go. Make sure your seam is turned toward the back. That would be the best, actually, for seams to go toward the back. And I think that would be the back. And I'm almost around to that pin, where that pin is. That's my mark. So, almost done. Have to pull that other side around, kind of sort of to keep it in place. And voila, we're done with that side. Back stitch. Pull your strings, your threads out and cut them. And you might want to do it one more stitch again. Just stitch one more time, a second stitch, and that would be on both seams. So just add a second stitch. You want to do your other side, your other sleeve the same way. Right sides together, pinned as we have it pinned. Seam is always pressed toward the back. And you want to do about 5/8 of a seam. Okay, I'll do that one. Back stitch and cut your strings. Okay, so once you have your dress laid out, we're going to work on the hem. We're going to do the finishing on the dress. So this should complete the dress once we're done. So I have a hem gauge here, which I'm going to set my hem gauge for about 1.25 inches. So once I have it folded over 1.25 inches, I'm going to just press that hem right down, just like that. So the object of doing your hem, you're going to take and you're going to turn it over again about like that. So by the time you get finished, you want your hem to be about 1 inch total of 1 inch. So we're going to turn it over twice. Okay, so to complete your hem, you want to be about 7/8 of a seam allowance for your hem. And you just maybe have your setting on about, I would say maybe a 3. And so you want to just stay with your 7/8 of a hem allowance there. As you can see, you want to remove your stick pins if you can. The way I got my stick pins in there, I can just go right over my stick pins. So you want to do your 7/8 of a hem seam all the way around, and as you can see, it's going to go right over because of the way I have my stick pins situated. And then you want to back stitch, you want to cut your strings, and you're done. It's time to try it on.
I am so super excited that you gave me the opportunity of demonstrating this fashion piece. I ask that you like and subscribe to the channel for more DIY fashion. You can also purchase the pattern we used in this tutorial on my website at www.charlotteswebco.com. See you soon.